Hey everyone, welcome to the Burnt Brass Homestead channel. Have you ever wondered how much time it would take before the food in your chest freezer starts to thaw during a prolonged power outage? Well, I recently turned off our small freezer because we no longer needed it at this time. I turned the freezer off Sunday morning around 10 a.m. and around 9 p.m. I decided to document how long it would take before the ice on the sides of the freezer started to melt. So this is how the freezer looked 11 hours after I first turned it off. This is what the freezer looked like inside after 24 hours. Now, I know this isn't a perfect test scenario, but it could be somewhat useful to someone out there knowing that they do not have to panic if they lose power for 24 to 72 hours. The food in their chest freezer should be good depending on a few other circumstances. For example, the amount of food already in the freezer. The more frozen food in the freezer, the longer it will remain below freezing during a prolonged power outage. If you recently put unfrozen food in the chest freezer, this would reduce the amount of time the frozen food already inside will remain frozen during a prolonged power outage. 2. Cool locations. Our freezers are stored in the basement. The temperature in our basement during the coldest winter months remain below freezing, 55 degrees Fahrenheit. In the summer, it remains below 76 degrees Fahrenheit. So the inside of the chest freezer will stay cooler longer during a prolonged power outage. 3. Extreme heat. A freezer stored in a shed or garage that gets extremely hot in the summer would not perform as well to keep the frozen food inside frozen for a long period of time. So depending on how hot it gets in your area, you may be good for 24 to 36 hours. It's the 5th day since removing power to the freezer. In this video, I am focusing on a chest freezer. The freezers attached to a refrigerator will not store food nearly as long as a chest freezer during a prolonged power outage. This is especially true if you keep opening the door. Upright freezers and refrigerators are designed a bit differently. They lack the efficiency chest freezers have at retaining temperatures even when the door is opened and closed a few times. Here you can see the chest freezer is still below 40 degrees despite it being propped open overnight. So the purpose of this video is to ultimately keep you from stressing out about meat thawing in your freezer during a 1 to 3 day power outage. Even foods in upright refrigerator and freezers located in most kitchens will last 24 to 48 hours depending on the temperature in your kitchen. If the food in the freezer starts to thaw but remains mostly frozen and the temperature is still below 40 degrees Fahrenheit when power is restored, you can allow the food to safely refreeze, or you can make the decision to eat or start canning the food in the freezer. If the food in the freezer starts to thaw and power is still not restored, you can start canning the meats using a portable stove and propane tank. I have canned food using this setup, and it works the same as canning food on your stove. A 25-pound propane tank is enough to complete a couple canning cycles with plenty of fuel remaining. We experience several power outages a year. So this is something that we think about since we raise our own meat birds to last us for a year, as well as buy grass-fed beef in bulk from local farmers. So we do not want any of that good food going to waste due to an outage. We recently acquired a generator that can run our freezers in the event of prolonged power outages. Prior to that, the chest freezers did well enough to keep the food frozen during these outages. I hope this video proved useful. If so, consider sharing this YouTube channel with your friends and family or even on your social media accounts to help this small channel to grow. Thanks for watching.